Alright, what's up guys? In today's video, take a look at the M4A1 in Call of Duty Warzone. This is going to be a specific video breaking down the two barrels and actually telling you guys which one is better. And in the M4 video, we're going to be showcasing today, we're comparing the M16 barrel versus the custom Corvus marksman. There's a lot of myths we're going to be busting in today's video and basically breaking down all the basic info you need to know on which barrel is actually better and why you should be using one barrel over the other and what specific class setup each barrel is good for. So there's a lot of factors about these barrels that a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of different variable stats which aren't listed on the actual, the card of the attachment. These barrels affect your idle sway, they affect your hip fire, they also affect your strafe speed, which are three things that aren't listed on those, obviously the attachment card. So we're comparing all those stats of each barrel head to head, and then obviously comparing the stats of those weapons as far as the movement speed, the aim down sight time, and obviously the range up to what meters, you get the bonus of 1. And then obviously the biggest and most important factor of what each barrel is actually the recoil, because I do think the M16 does have better recoil, but we're going to put into the test basically showcasing each barrel, comparing all of those stats. So if you guys do enjoy the video, please leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. The biggest thing we're talking about first is how these barrels actually affect the M4. The base range is about 30 meters of the regular M4. When you throw that M16 barrel on there, it goes up to about 43 meters, which is a pretty good boost. The difference between the base range going up to 43 with the M16 and the custom Corvus marksman goes up to about 39. So there's about a 10% difference in the range of the base range. And then when you have that second range drop off, you have 70 meters with the M16 barrel and only 65 with the custom Corvus marksman. So once again, about a 10% difference, which is not really noticeable, but is definitely a bigger difference than that of the Grau. So you're getting about a 10% more range with the M16, which is actually, in my opinion, pretty good. To get that base damage range to be extended out much farther is definitely excellent for it. As far as talking about the aim down sight time, you guys will be able to see on the screen now the difference between the M16 and the custom Corvus marksman is with the M16 barrel you get about a 15% slower aim down sight time and about a 10% slower aim down sight time with that of the custom Corvus marksman. So only about a 5% difference. And then we look at the mobility category. The M16 is about a 4% slower movement speed, which that of the custom Corvus marksman is about 3%. So definitely a pretty big difference in the range of mobility. You're getting a 5% slower aim down sight time and 1% slower movement speed, which you probably wouldn't even notice in the game. To get about 10% more range is definitely one of the biggest factors. And as far as the unique stats of each weapon, which aren't listed on the card, that is the hip fire spread, the strafe speed, and the idle sway. So if we take a look at the idle sway, you guys have to focus very closely, but is a little bit worse, probably a little tiny factor, kind of similar to that of the other two stats where you won't notice it. But if you put an attachment that makes your idle sway worse, definitely the M16 barrel is going to have a bigger difference. When you take a look at the strafe speed of the weapons, the M16 barrel is going to give you about a 9% slower strafe speed. So when you're aimed down sight and you're trying to move left to right, in your gunfight, it's going to be about 9% slower. Versus the custom Corvus marksman is about 6% slower, so a little bit of a difference. You guys can see the big difference is the custom Corvus marksman basically is a little bit better in all the mobility categories. And then the hip fire spread, you guys will be able to see on the screen how the difference in the hip fire is just a little bit difference, probably about 5% difference, but when you compare all those negatives, you get a slower movement speed, slower aim down sight time, a slower strafe speed, a worse idle sway, and a worse hip fire spread for about 10% more range. And then the biggest factor is the overall accuracy. I'll showcase two different pictures on the screen. One is a close range accuracy. You guys can see the M16 is definitely better. And the biggest difference I've learned and in my using of the M4 is the M16 is better at long range. So I'll showcase the long range here. You guys can see on the screen the M16 versus the custom Corvus marksman is definitely better at long range. That's basically the biggest difference I noticed the most. All the other stats such as the strafe speed, the idle sway, and the hip fire have a little difference, but when you attach a best class set with 5 different attachments, you might notice the difference. So it definitely has a factor, but this is kind of the biggest difference a lot of people don't know. The one thing about Modern Warfare and Warzone in general is they put a lot of patches, a lot of updates out, and they never really tell you anything about all the weapons and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not a fan of. So if you actually look at the stats of the weapon, what it claims is it lowers your aim down sight and your movement speed, and that's it. What it actually does is make your strafe speed worse, which should be listed because that's something that is affected. And it also makes your idle sway worse, which is probably so minimal you won't notice it, but that's also not listed. And then obviously your hip fire spread goes down by just a little bit, but that's also not listed. So you have 5 negatives for 3 positives. And obviously with the M16 barrel getting a little bit better bullet velocity and a little bit better recoil, it's definitely going to be a lot better at long range. So what we're going to be taking a look at is the 2 best class setups for each barrel and how they affect your overall stats as far as your aim down sight time, your recoil pattern, and your movement speed. Because I think that's the biggest factor in how this barrel actually develops into getting a better class setup. As most of you guys should know, as I said, the M16 has the best recoil pattern. So the class that I'm going to be going for with this barrel being a longer range barrel is going to be to give the best recoil pattern. We're going to be stacking that M16 barrel with the monolith suppressor, the 60 round mag, and then the 2 grips we're going to run it together is going to be the rubberized grip with the Ranger foregrip, which is basically going to give you the least amount of recoil possible because this gun, this class setup is developed for long range fights. It's going to give you about a 7% lower movement speed with obviously no recoil. And your aim down sight time is going to go down by a lot, about 30%, which is a big negative, about 334 milliseconds, which is pretty massive, but it doesn't feel that slow because you're playing with this class setup at long range. With the custom Corvus marksman, we're going to be switching up a little bit. We're going to run the custom Corvus marksman. We're using the 50 round mag this time to try and help the movement speed out a little bit. The monolith suppressor, we're going to be using the tack laser, which is going to help your aim down sight time and your idle sway. And we're going to be using the commando foregrip, which is going to help with your idle sway once again, as well as your stabilization. So we don't want to lower our aim down sight time. We want to actually improve that. So by stacking the tack lasers and the commando together, you're basically going to get improved aim down sight time and improved overall significantly better accuracy for those mid to close range fights. Movement speed is going to go down by only about 6%, which is not that bad, but your idle sway is basically going to be 0, and your aim down sight time is still 250 milliseconds, which is no change at all. So you're getting a massive increase to your first shot accuracy. Obviously, you're going to get a massive increase to your accuracy, which is your overall accuracy. Your aim down sight time has no change. So your mobility is still excellent with this class setup. So if it was my choice, obviously Warzone, as I said, I'm a slower player. I play a lot more long-range fights. I'm going to go with that M16 class setup. I prefer accuracy over mobility in Warzone. So I'm going to be choosing the M16 class. But so as far as you're asking which barrel is better and where, the M16 is going to be for players like myself. I'm a slower player. I play methodically. I play smart. I try and pick players off at a long distance. I body and rush players. The custom Corvus marksman barrel is going to be for the more aggressive, the high kill players in Warzone. You're trying to get a faster kill. You're trying to get a faster mobility. You move around a lot. The custom Corvus is going to be better. The range difference won't be noticeable for you because you're playing a lot faster than I am. So as far as which barrel is actually better, I'm going to be taking the custom Corvus marksman just due to the fact that it has a very similar range, which the 4 meters and the 5 meters you probably won't notice in game. Has a faster movement speed, faster aim down sight time, faster strafe speed, better hip fire, and a better idle sway. So it's pretty much better in everything besides the range, which is why I personally have always used it and always recommended it. But in Warzone, getting into a lot more long-range gunfights, that accuracy of the M16 is going to play, in my opinion, a bigger factor because you got to hit your shots. And the M4 is kind of a hard-to-control recoil for me. So that's basically the biggest difference. I wanted to just try and break it down for you guys in one specific video, showcase all the myths and all the hidden things about these barrels because a lot of people don't really know the biggest difference. And that's basically it. I'm going to be uploading a video very, very soon, once again showcasing M4 versus the GFUEL. With these new hidden stats I found or recently coming out that these barrels are hidden with a lot of stats they have, I'm going to do a new video showcasing the M4 versus the GFUEL with these new stats in that video. So if you guys want to see that video, it should be up next weekend. Leave a comment down below which gun you guys actually think is better, the M4 or the GFUEL, and which barrel do you guys prefer, the M16 or the custom Corvus marksman barrel. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys have not subscribed, you guys learn anything new in this video does help you guys out, make a better class setup for the M4. Make sure you guys do leave a like. I would very, very much appreciate it. Make sure you guys use code Trapgod on all of your scuff and all your GFUEL purchases. My code is currently 30% off right now. If you guys want to buy some GFUEL, make sure you guys use code Trapgod. Hopefully this video helped you guys learn something new, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.